Hey guys, what's going on? It's Gale right here, back again on the 5-9 channel with another Genshin Impact video, and today we're going to be bringing you the Ganyu Showcase a bit late, unfortunately due to a bit of difficulties getting her ready and whatnot, but we finally have her ready. Hopefully we can show you guys what we feel about her. Troko has been getting her up. This is on the 5-9 account where she is C6. I'm going to be giving my small inputs here and there, of course. At C0, personally, I have her as well. Finally, out of all the showcases we've done with Zhongli, Tartaglia, and co, I mean, I've never had them, so this is the first time I'm going to be actually being able to give some input at C0. But Choco, take us away. Show us what she can do at just a general boss world, I assume.
Yeah. So first up, we're hopping in. We're just going to get some good damage with her. I have Mona here mainly for the attack boost with the book. I'm not going to do her ultimate thing, but we are going to break this real quick, ideally, before anything bad happens. Now that it's broken, we can just swap to Ganyu and do an absolute ton of damage. Yeah, there we go, 22k on that one. And I almost have her ultimate, which, can I get it before he's dead? I don't know if I can get it before he's dead. Oh, well,
no, I think you're gonna get it. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. And we'll just
I think the one thing is, of course, is her ult isn't going to be necessarily the best for a single big boss like him. I mean, yes, he's gonna get hit by the icicle spears quite a bit here and there, but I feel like this is more so for if you're trying to not necessarily, I mean, you can kind of crowd control this way, especially if you have a hydro unit like, say, Tartaglia or Mona or Barbara or something. Obviously you can wet them, and then as the icicle spears drop, you're freezing them, so a little bit of crowd control there, of course, as well as just AoE damage. So overall, fantastic. But yeah, we're gonna that is my thought process as well, is like, yes, she's great in just the general boss scenario, but I think that AoE is definitely for more of a mob-based enemy. So we're gonna take her to the next portion of this showcase, to the Abyss, where obviously there are more opportunities for you to encounter multiple enemies at once. So take us away, Troko. So we are currently here on floor 7, chamber 1. Clearly Troko is going to be dueling against these Fatuis, which is obviously this is one of those stages which I know a lot of people are finding it difficult on, and I mean, already 40. Was that 40,000 damage?
I don't know, man. It was a lot of damage.
I think that was a lot of damage. I mean, she's doing an outstanding amount of damage, and right now, from what we know, we're gonna go over it in the overview as to what we've put on her and what her stats are when doing the stage. That was barely 3 seconds, but from what I know, the account has Ganyu at like 100% crit damage and stuff, and I mean, I barely had enough time to even think about it. But I mean, we didn't even get the opportunity to showcase the idea that was the whole thing of like, oh, she's gonna be great against multiple mobs. But I mean, clearly, even with her charge level 2 shot, she's insane. So yeah,
I think look at the comparison of like this Tartaglia is built a good amount, and like he is not on that level.
It's crazy. I mean, you can tell by the difference. Now, of course, we're going to be talking about what's her build, and of course, because right now, I think what Troko has done, is not necessarily gone for a full main DPS build, which we will be also suggesting to you guys what the main DPS build is. But I think we need to move on, and let's go into a domain to show her off in the final spot. So we're here in the Cecilia Garden domain. This is where we will be you would usually farm weapons. Cryo units are ideal here, of course, when you're facing off against these hydro slimes. And I mean, again, it's just phenomenal. We're gonna try and hopefully get her, fingers crossed, her ult here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. There you go.
There we go.
Bring her ult out. And you can clearly see like what I mean by when you have a enemy that's a hydro based enemy, or you have hydro affected by them, they're just stuck and frozen in the same spot, whereas you could literally just use Ganyu to like shoot them at the same time while they're being frozen. And of course, if you have a four-piece cryo set or Blizzard Strayer set, you're gonna be getting that extra crit rate for them being frozen, right? So you really are going to be benefiting a whole lot from having, her ult being so widespread, and potentially having a hydro unit on your team, or facing hydro units specifically.
Now we have the full nuke. Let's actually check her attack stat, what it is. Yeah, 6,000. There we go.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good attack
stat. Yeah, her attack stat is quite high up.
I didn't even get the second hit off on him.
We're gonna go into a bit of a character overview, talking about her details, why we would want you to go in a certain direction. Maybe, tell you guys like what would be your ideal usage of her, depending on what you would like to get out of her. So if you want to go for support or for for a main DPS, you have multiple options with her. So Choco, let's start off with what you've done with her today, and let us know what the whole situation is with her.
So when I originally built Ganyu, I knew she was going to do good damage, but I wanted her as a more support-based unit because I still like Zhongli and Tartaglia a bit better. So the gear set I have is not what I'm going to actually build for her in the end. It's just I have her with a support set. Right now, here's her stats. Not the greatest crit damage because I got pretty unlucky with her rolls and I got a lot of elemental mastery. As you can see, 177, which is pretty high. So I don't have a huge need to reroll it right now, but her stats are overall pretty good. 2300 attack, which is helped out a ton by having an R5 Atmos bow. Of course, the showcase is a C6, Ganyu one. It's in the title. You guys should know what to expect. It is an ultimate whaled version of Ganyu, but she has her bow, and then here's her artifact sets. Blizzard Strayer and Noblesse Oblige. Elemental burst damage 20% and crowd damage 15%. Now I did make sure to get cryo damage rolls as well, so 61% from there. It's why, like, on a charge shot, even with a more of a support set, not full Wanderer's trope, she's doing, just insane damage overall.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how much she can. Of course, you have other alternatives to technically go with her. Of course, in terms of you could go cryo and maybe sort of like a Wanderer's trope set, or cryo and of course like Troco's done here as Noblesse for a support set. But Troco, what do you think about when she needs to be a main DPS? What would you recommend to a C6 R5 Amos bow user?
Wanderer's trope, definitely, because elemental mastery is pretty huge for her. Now, I got really lucky, and it's only a 4-piece artifact, but I'm going to build it up because it is crowd damage bonus, and the 4-piece set increases charge attack damage by 35% if it's a catalyst or a bow. And you guys already saw a charge attack. It's doing like a casual 20 to what? Like we almost saw. Did you see like 40k on one of those attacks?
I saw 40k. I think on a crit. It was a crit damage set. It was on a crit. It was 40,000, and it's insane.
It's gonna allow her to hit for even more because yes, the 4-piece, I'll lose elemental burst damage, which that's the ultimate, that doesn't matter, and then what, the cryo damage 15%, we lose 15 but gain 35, so she's gonna 20%. She's gonna be doing a lot more if you build this full DPS set for her.
And in my opinion, if you're at C6 and you have the Amos bow, which obviously if you look at the Amos's bow, it increases the normal and charge attack damage by 24%, and then on top of that, it stacks up normal and charge attack damage as well. And if you look at her constellation and you go to her 6th constellation, Troco, if possible, and you see this. So every time you use her E skill, which is the Trail of Qilin, causes the next Frostflake arrow shot within 30 seconds to not require charging. Basically, it allows you to do her max charge without having to have a sort of like charge period. Immediately, instead of going to the charge level 1 to charge level 2, you're going straight to charge level 2. And then on top of that, if you go to number 2, the constellation 2, you get 2 Trail of Qilin. So basically, you can set one charge shot for the next 30 seconds and then immediately place another one. So you're going to be getting a lot of charge shots, especially with her charge level 2, which is going to be insane. And then on top of that, once you add on all of everything we have on her, the Wanderer's trope set and the obviously the Amos's bow, or Amos bow, I should say, you are going to be getting some insane damage. And I'm not a mathematician. I'm an engineer. I'm technically an engineer, but I'm not a mathematician. I'm not running the numbers immediately in my head. But that makes me think, with the right crit damage rolls, at 90, of course, we have her at 80, so we're just missing that extra 12%. She's probably gonna be doing around easily 125k plus. You think, Troco?
She's gonna one-shot everything, man.
Yeah,
I don't think anything is gonna live.
Honestly, I think she's one of the better units we've seen, honestly, come out. I think, especially with the shadow buff she's gotten, of course, those of you who do not know, I think it was her E cooldown went from 12 seconds to 10 seconds before she even released. Same with her Q going down from, I think it was 20 seconds cooldown to 15 seconds cooldown, so you're regularly going to get that burst. So you can really use her in multiple ways. If you want her to be somebody who's just going to apply that cryo for the freeze, or, whatever you want her to be, you can go for that route. But at the same time, you can get a monster you can get a monster of unit if you decide to go main DPS. What about you, Troco? Anything you want to add on as well?
I mean, is she the best DPS unit in the game? I've seen other characters hit higher numbers, but that requires super high end nuking for setup for a lot of those characters. where do you place her? I guess overall, as in terms of like overall, do you still think like Venti is best overall just for co-op and single player? Where do you rate her? Stuff like that. Do you think she's best DPS? Because I mean, I haven't seen anything hit what she can hit like just normally without any real
Yeah,
setup. I did do some setup in the video, of course,
yeah,
but even without doing setup with
mhm,
Mona or Bennett, which is pretty realistic to do,
yeah,
having because Mona is only there for the book. I'm not doing her ultimate new thing,
yeah.
and Bennett he's a 4-star, so she can just hit crazy high
I
damage.
know I said also as well as 125k, and I didn't want to say it because I could stand corrected. Comments can let me know what the numbers actually are, because I've seen some madmen on over on Twitch and on YouTube hit like 170, 180k plus with her. It's ridiculous and bonkers numbers with her. Um, but at the same time, I think obviously Venti obviously has that higher pedestal purely because of how much of a good support he can be, in terms of the swirl damage and just being able to crowd control so well and get all the mobs in one spot. I mean, if there's anything you could argue to say, you get them all together in one spot with Venti and then you shoot the arrows with uh Ganyu. Heck, that would be a great combination even. I have to I don't know if I can place her really well. She's definitely a top 3 5-star though, I feel like. As of this moment, of course, we don't know how Zhongli's buffs are going to come into play, of course. We have obviously Tartaglia right now, I think is a lot of people's top unit arguably, or one of top people's top units. Venti is of course a lot of people's top unit overall, period. But I think Ganyu can slide in very easily there. But again, it also depends on playstyle. I feel a lot of it comes down to that. As somebody who has her at C0 personally, I run her at C0 and I have Skyward Harp on her. I don't even have Almost Bow. I still think she's phenomenal. I still get some solid damage out of her, even though I don't even have a proper set on her yet with proper bonuses. I only have a 2-piece bonus, which is cryo damage, and she still nets out like a solid 12, 15k damage out of it. So you know that says a lot about this unit. Who, even if she's not fully built up, she can dominate stages very, very easily. Yeah, I definitely think top 3 easily.
I'm curious though, when Zhongli does get his buffs though, how will he perform with the same gear set I have on him with his like what 33 something 35,000 HP?
Yeah.
Yeah, 33. I wonder how well he's gonna be, but I do agree. Ganyu is probably top 3. I think overall Venti probably. I am still thinking Zhongli might be the best overall unit after his buffs, depending on how crazy they are in
Yep.
use, but I haven't seen any unit casually hit as hard as Ganyu, like without setup. Of course,
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. No setup, right?
Yeah.
Nothing like that. Ganyu's just doing like 20k, 30k, 40k
Mm-hmm.
on like a charge shot. Which again, we're talking about C6 units here. We're talking whale territory. Got to understand
Yeah.
that. But I think she might just be the best general DPS unit.
Yeah.
I mean, Tartaglia does do really really good damage, but
I mean, I'm curious to see. Of course, again, we'll make a point out like this isn't even the best case scenario we've shown her in. Like this, we've shown her in a semi decent spot, but getting the better rolls, crit damage rolls, and of course getting her to 90. That's gonna be pushing her crit damage up through the roof, and that 40,000 is probably gonna be like 50, 60,000 plus damage. And when you get that off so consistently, especially at C6, because it's only your charge shot, it's not as if you're waiting for a burst attack or you're waiting for your skill to pull off. You're actually just, doing a shooty effectively, and boom, you're getting massive damage out of it. It's insane. And especially with the no time loss on C6, it's ridiculous. Any final thoughts before we wrap up, Troko?
no, other than Ganyu's pretty great. She has two kind of roles. She can be like more of a like sub DPS support unit or your main DPS, which I'm going to build 2 sets for her.
Yep.
I'm going to keep this set and I'm going to build a Wanderer's Trope. We'll probably be back with a Wanderer's Trope video in a week. Once the account is AR50 and I get her to 90, she probably will actually be the first character I get to 90.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be back with her crit damage, full,
Yep.
hopefully like 150, close to 200% crit damage with the Wanderer's Trope. And we'll see what crazy damage she can do then. But I mean, for a sub DPS, she's blowing me away every day, man.
Yeah.
She is insane.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, yeah, as I said, the elemental burst damage, while great, again, is not necessarily her forte. It's something to, help out, do a bit, chip damage and help out the other DPS unit you may have on your team as well, especially if you have, like, say, a fire unit and, you want to get that melt off or something, right? again, I would personally go for Wanderer's Trope hands down. Again, that's my personal recommendation. If you have her at, especially at if you have her at C6, your whale, and if you have like R5 Amos as well, 100% by far. Another alternative is definitely going for potentially the the cryo set 4 piece as well as the Skyward Harp to get that 100% crit rate chance, and you're just getting crits over and over and over and over and over again, right? That's another alternative. So 100%, there's a lot of ways to go with her. I would personally go certain ways. Obviously, personally, we've done it. We've shown you guys another way, of course. Let us know down in the comments below if you've pulled Ganyu. How are you building her? We'd like to see some new ideas as well. If you guys have any ideas, we might try them out on the channel as well down the line. Maybe on stream over on 59 Gaming 1. We do stream Genshin 3 days a week. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Our links will be down in the descriptions below. To all our socials on 59, as well as our own socials for myself and Troco. We've been here to do the Ganyu Showcase. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Catch you guys later on.
Yep.